Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Talking Skritt. I'm your host John, better known as Dare around Yakspin, with a fantastic show for you. The latest balance patch lands, underwater puns galore in the recent guild chat, and an unexpected update for Guild Wars 1. Ooh. And much more. But first, let me introduce you to my fellow hosts. He is moderator over at MMO Champion and host of Zero to Hero on this very channel, revisiting all the underwater content. Can we expect something to come up from the deep in the valley of the Tyrian Seas? But will his character be able to fight it off? I know I am waiting to find out. Say hello to Jim.
I feel like my intro is getting more and more lengthy and epic as time goes on.
Like
it's theatrical. Hard.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like it's in a movie or something.
Almost. And he streams over on Twitch where he answers the age-old question with Guild Wars 1 getting graphical updates. What the heck are they planning? Say hello to H.
Guild Wars 1 reboot? Oh shoot, no. I put the idea in my head. No.
They're going to take down Guild Wars 2 and say everybody back to the old game.
We have to retreat back to the past. Oh, that would be bad.
Please no.
All the people that stayed in Guild Wars 1 would probably be like, "Ha ha, we were right."
How many years later?
Mm-hmm. And she writes for MMORPG.com and also her own site, MMORly.com. With the underwater content added, her roar is more like a gargle. Say hello to Robin. Oh. Well, that's on the internet. All right, let us jump right into it. So the May 8th patch, surprisingly dropped on May 8th. And this was supposed to be our big underwater content update. This is what they were, balance patch for underwater, which people were like, wait, what? We still do underwater? So we'll definitely get to that for each character breakdown, and like we normally do with like balance updates in general, of going through each of the professions, and we'll do them in the order on the patch notes, which just in case if people want to gather their thoughts, I'll throw the link up early, and we'll definitely do it again when we're closer, just in case. But first off, let's talk about some general stuff. So they added the Dive Master Astora in Lion's Arch with a proposal for adventurers who are interested in pursuing sunken treasure. What in the world could that be?
Pirates.
Ascended water breathers that looks like a bubble on your head.
Ooh.
Which is pretty cool. And I'm totally cool with actually having more water breather skins.
Yeah, like if you ever watched the fourth Harry Potter movie, it's that.
Oh, that sounds fancy.
Yep.
And swim speed infusions that stack with speed boosts, like swiftness.
Which is huge.
Which is interesting. I mean, like Chad saying now, aquatic ruins fractal is a thing once every 2 weeks. So, so it's. I mean, are they planning more underwater content here? I think we were speculating on that like in the last couple of weeks where they talked like, we're planning on doing a balance patch. It's like, I mean, are they just doing this for? It'd be weird if they were just doing this out of nowhere for no reason.
Well, I mean, on the one hand, they have had this entire game mode that pretty much nobody really likes and nobody really does. So updating it to be something that's not so painful is not a bad idea, even if you aren't planning new content.
Not to mention that I do think they're planning more content for underwater because one, I agree with Arlie on that. People loathe underwater combat, and we still have sections of the game that require it. So make it not terrible. Good on you. That's great. But two, I also think this gives them a lot more options in the future to be able to put underwater stuff in. I mean, underwater stuff has basically become non-existent at this point. I mean, even look at Draconis Mons, where you literally could not go in the water. So I'm looking forward to them having more underwater stuff.
Yeah. Well, like seriously, when I logged in to try out some of the changes, I logged in and then literally sat there for like 5 minutes trying to remember where there was underwater combat stuff in the game. Like, because it had been so long, I was like, I don't even know where to go. Like,
and Chad is saying that the +10 underwater speed infusion increases your speed by +33%, which for people that don't know, that's kind of like the max of like speed boosts, you know, normally like swiftness stuff. Or swiftness is 25.
Swiftness is 33.
Oh, okay.
Passives go up to 25. Swiftness is 33. Super speed is 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, and the thing they did say also was that with the swim speed infusions, you probably wouldn't notice the bonus outside of combat because, you know, there's a limit to how fast you can move, but your movement is reduced in combat. So that's where you'll see most of the benefit from that because it stacks with the other things. So when you get the other things, you'll move even faster. Or even if you just use that without the other things, you should see a difference.
In before underwater raid. I don't want to.
The laugh with the that said it all. But yeah, do note that if you're looking at those pictures, you know, and thank you to Dolphin.net for, you know, grabbing all those. But the unique head aqua breather is an ascended item. So you're, you know, if you need an ascended item for your aqua breather, it's a good avenue to go. You'll get a unique skin, and
it's also like not too terrible to make. Like it will take some time and effort, but like it's not. I don't know. It's not like making a legendary weapon or something.
Can't believe we're actually having to make underwater breathers now. No.
I was gonna say I've actually heard some people complaining that like for the amount it takes, it should have been like a legendary or something. Which
that's what some people were saying, but I don't see that at all. Like it's not that level to me.
Is it expensive or just takes time?
I think it just takes time.
Well, I was gonna say it looks like it requires 512 of the speed infusion, so it just sounds like it's a mindless grind to get those.
Well, like, you have to do the sunken treasure thing to work towards it or whatever, and like you can get a key for the sunken treasure every day, and like it just takes time essentially.
Yeah, which I've heard people speculating. It's like, oh, you have to fight Crate, you have to fight the. It seems like it's, and people are now reporting like it seems like it drops off of anywhere.
Yeah, in guild chat they said that it drops off of anything underwater, but the Crate have a slightly higher drop rate.
And you get one every day for killing 10 Crate. So you are guaranteed at least one a day.
Oh, okay.
Well, if you do the thing.
I got one from Draconis Mons.
Yeah.
And there is no one, like I said before, there is no underwater content there.
Yeah.
So you have a small chance to get it from anything. Think of like or key pieces 2.0.
Cool.
Now, what if I use a hammer and knock an Etten into the water, then kill them? Does that count as underwater?
Well, you'd have to be able to knock NPC creatures off of ledges into things to be able to do that in the first place.
Good point. Also, a little bit of love to the skimmer mount. Increase the water hovering speed of the mount by 21%.
It is noticeable.
Yeah, it is. But I don't know. I don't know that was really necessary. Like, it didn't feel like going over water, the skimmer was slow. Like, I don't know. It wasn't an issue I had.
Who knows?
Yeah, it was a nice little added boost when you went over the water, but I'm not going to complain if it goes faster. I mean,
nope.
Gotta go
Take it back, ArenaNet. We don't want your speed boost.
Don't listen to her. We like it.
Look, anything that makes the skimmer a more desirable mount, I think, is a good idea.
Yeah.
Yes. I definitely agree with that.
There needs to be more like water or quicksand areas because I feel like the skimmer is just underutilized in general.
I got to admit, going
very situational.
The older Corteria zones, the skimmer is amazing. Like Bloodtide Coast.
Oh, wow, yeah.
You can just basically skip a crap ton of content just by using the skimmer.
Yeah. I think with the underwater changes and the skimmer change in of itself, I think it opens Arena to more content that is water based.
Yeah.
Like, look at the last episode. That new map has a lot of water around it, and you can use skimmer fairly effectively there.
Mhm.
So I can see them having more of that content going in the future, and that's what I thought they were going to. I thought that's what mainly the underwater changes were for anyway. So for opening up more living story stuff underwater wise.
Yeah, that would be. It would be interesting to see that, and I agree with. I'd like to see more utilization of some of the other mounts because it's like you kind of have like Griffin. If you don't have Griffin, it's like Raptor or maybe Jackal, depending on preference. And then the other two are kind of just like a tool.
Yeah, I use Raptor or Jackal most of the time. So.
I'm using Jackal 100% of the time. We'll go over why later.
Yeah. And I was going to say, and while I am saying I like to see this, I am preemptively cringing of a map that's going to super utilize the Springer, because that will be super annoying.
Very vertical map.
Yeah. But, so hopefully we'll see more stuff like that. I think Chad's guessing what you might be referring to, Age.
I have no idea what Chad is talking about.
So some bug fixes as well. Fix the bug in which I skipped PvP. Naturally, I skipped PvP. What a shocker!
Oh my god!
Do you want me to read it since you can't see it?
PvP, it's a thing. Oh, must have been a bug. PvP players can no longer channel special objectives while under the influence of Mirage Cloak. This includes the meditation enhancements in Temple of the Silent Storm, the Sword of Reaping and Shield of Life in Eternal Coliseum, the Orb in Spirit Watch, and the supply piles and mist essences in Battle of Champions Dusk. So,
legitimately surprised they missed that.
Yeah, I was gonna say that because aren't all other kind of.
Well,
maybe it's just
the point. I think the point is that Mirage Cloak is supposed to be your dodge. No one else can dodge while channeling.
Yeah.
You can still hit F4 to distortion and continue channeling, but you can't dodge and channel at the same time because nobody else can.
It makes sense to me. It should be like that. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's a good idea.
But let's move on to the bug fixes now, since we talked about the PvP thing. Fix the bug in which computers reported that they did not have enough RAM. Interesting. Added functionality to clean client cache files that were generated between builds.
That is actually really good.
Garbage cleanup, always a good thing.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
At the very least, they're not working in Java, thankfully, because... Let me tell you, I'm not going to bore people with programming, but working in Java, garbage cleanup, it's the worst in Java.
Aww.
It's just terrible.
So fun.
Well, we're going to find out what professions were fun and not after this balance patch, because next up in the patch notes was all the changes to the professions. So I'm going to throw that link back in chat just in case you guys need it. And,
let's not go through all of it.
Yeah, like I said, if you guys want to talk about a certain thing, but we'll kind of give enough time for each, so you guys can, with the Twitch, temporary, delay and stuff like that. But
well, the one thing I do want to bring up is previously when they had the big PvP balance patch, a lot of people on the forums, a lot of people on Reddit were looking at all the buffs that were going into PvP, and they were saying like, just give us these in PvE.
Yeah.
And for pretty much every single class, the buffs that they got in PvP and WW got rolled into PvE. So even a lot of the nerfs, like off the top of my head, since I've been running Mesmer and Zero to Hero, so I actually have playtime on my Mesmer.
What time is Zero to Hero, Malthanis?
What's that?
When is Zero Hero?
Oh, it's Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. I hope to see you all there. The cooldown on Continuum Split is 105 seconds now, and it was a shorter cooldown time beforehand. I can't remember what it was, but that previous PvP patch in PvP and WW made it 105 seconds. That got rolled out to everything. So a lot of the buffs, some of the nerfs got pulled from PvP into the rest of the game, and then very little actually changed otherwise. Most of this is just the underwater stuff, which
Yeah.
I'll admit I didn't have much time to really explore, just because, like Arlie, I had a hard time finding places, like remembering places to have underwater combat.
Joknar's Forge.
Whose forge?
Son of a hurts.
Yeah, but I mean, like the skill changes for elementalists underwater are really good. Like one of the things I hated about fighting as an elementalist underwater is like none of the abilities seem to work together very well, and like sometimes they counter work. So like you use one and it pull something this way, and then you use another and pull it back, and you're like, why? How this doesn't make sense. So they just went through and made a lot of the abilities work together much better. And like even as a weaver where you're doing multiple attunements at one time, it still feels, one, like you are weaving, and two, like, you know, it flows well. So I was liking it.
It's funny that underwater combat didn't flow very well previously.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Also, I messed around in my Guardian underwater some too, and being able to use the sigils underwater is really nice. It helps a lot. So
We'll get to each of them. Like I said, we'll allow each a little bit of time. We're not going to go in depth on each bullet point on each of them, but like let's start off with the elementalist, since you were kind of talking about that, and that way if chat has stuff they want to talk about, they can have a chance to chime in.
I would like to talk about Meteor Shower. So that got nerfed so that every single hit degrades the damage by 10% up down to like base 10% of your initial damage. So basically, if you hit 10 times, that 10th hit will be the max number you can hit with any Meteor Shower strike, which is a nerf.
Technically,
it's kind of a slight nerf.
Well, they also buffed the initial damage by 20%.
Yeah, it did buff the initial damage. Now, I don't know. I did a little bit of math in my head and on the stream, and my fans helped out a bit. I think I did a little bit of numbers wrong, but basically it was like a nerf to some degree. But for all you raid elementalists out there, do not complain. You do like 40k damage, and everyone else does like 35 to 30 max. Don't complain. You still do 40k.
It's one of those things where before, because of the way that little bit of math, Meteor Shower has 24 hits. It lasts for 10 seconds. So that means that every hit comes down at a little less than half a second at a time. There was an internal cooldown on it that a target could not be hit more than once every half a second. So at most, perfect conditions, you could get 12 hits out of a Meteor Shower. 11 or 12. I'm not sure about the timing, but that's neither here nor there. But it was the same hit all the way across. Now you can hit a PvE, and this is just a PvE change. You can hit a target. So Gorseval is usually the pretty big example because of how huge Gorseval is. You can hit all 24 hits. And because of the damage scaling down, it is a slight nerf. I think Mean Age worked it out to something like 77k off of a base 10k damage for the change version.
77k?
I think I have to redo that number because I think I accidentally inversed one of the values. So it should be
77,000.
We assumed an initial hit of 10k per meter.
Yeah.
Just we used a big number to make the numbers easier to work with. But it's a slight nerf, but most of the damage is front loaded.
Yep.
So it's now less punishing if something moves out of the Meteor Shower. So most of the damage is front loaded, and then you get a bunch of extra hits that, you know, could proc crit stuff, can proc hit stuff. It's not that bad. I mean, you're figuring if there's a druid with a water spirit out, or a frost spirit with the bonus damage on that, there's burning precision, so you're getting burn ticks whenever there's a crit. If it's eating the cooldown for that. So it's not super bad. But and then Savage brings up another good point, is it now does similar damage across multiple hitbox sizes.
Yeah.
Not to mention doing it this way, instead of just saying your hit does not hit, they now have better ways to tune the damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think someone said it resulted in a 2 to 5K loss. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but even
yeah,
if it's
even then,
that,
it's still pretty good.
Yeah, that's negligible.
It's like, guys, they nerfed my damage from 42K to 38. I'm so sad.
And every other profession's just like, I hate you.
Shut up.
But I think that was pretty much the biggest change for Elementalist outside of the underwater combat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so.
Outside of the underwater combat changes, that was the biggest one.
Well, and
there are people,
oh,
like, just not to sidetrack into craziness, but there are people who were saying that Staff Ellie was dead now, and I was like, what?
To be fair, Aaron was memeing.
Was Aaron?
Aaron was on Twitter.
You're like, was it Aaron?
No, I saw other people say it too.
Well,
but
I can almost guarantee that Aaron was memeing and doing his voice of Reddit thing as he typed it.
I see.
I'll say it's probably not meta anymore. You probably do Swordweaver, but
which, you know, is fine. Like, having more options is good. Like, more viable options. Like, that's good. The default shouldn't always just be one thing and only one thing. Like,
that makes content stale and boring for that, you know. But
that was one reason why I never wanted to do Staff Ellie when I was raiding, was because I didn't find it interesting. It was boring.
My problem with staff on Elementalist in general.
How have you guys tried underwater Elementals? Does it feel better? I've kind of heard people are like, ironically, it doesn't seem like water attunement is as nice underwater anymore.
That's just hilarious. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I wasn't noticing any issue with it. So part of my problem when I was getting ready to write my article was I was trying to get images to use in the article. And I was trying to get cool images of me fighting stuff, but I kept killing things too fast, which is the exact opposite of what used to be the problem, where it was just like, why is it not dead yet? So, like, even auto-attacking, like, things were just dying really, really fast, which is nice. But
We'll fight a champion underwater. There you go.
Oh, I did. I fought the Bloodstone shark. It randomly spawned near me while I was running around.
Bloodstone shark.
Okay. Wispy's saying it's now even better. If she's referring to the, I've seen people. I saw people saying that the water attunement wasn't as good or something. Like, I've seen people saying like, "Oh, it was great while we had it" or something, and so I just assumed that.
Like I said, I had no issues. I think everything worked really well. Nothing stuck out as being like, "Wow, that sucks." You know,
I practically preferred underwater. I like pretty much camped fire and water if I had to do anything underwater for Elementalist.
Yeah, but even now, like, so I'm a weaver, so I was doing like the combinations a lot, and like using earth stuff wasn't annoying. It was useful. Using the air abilities were fun and actually made sense in the way that they worked now. So I thought overall it was great.
Cool, good to hear. Any final thoughts on the Elementalist?
You're fine.
The best.
You're fine.
Chat's asking, how does water attunement work underwater? Let me shoot some water at you while we are surrounded completely by water already. It's like super water.
Super water.
Magical water.
It's heavy water.
I always thought of it more like, you know, have you ever had yourself shot by a pressure hose? Like a pressure washer? Yeah, that's what I think about.
You can do that underwater too.
Wait, are you basing this off of real life?
Yeah.
Is this the real life?
Or
is it just fantasy?
Well, easy come, easy go. Let's move on to the engineer.
What just happened?
So have people tried the engineer? And
engineer is awesome because Malthanis will say,
okay, so Medkit is great. Now, the changes they made to Medkit, Okay, so the problem with medkit as a heal skill is that it was almost entirely dependent on other people doing stuff. You mostly just dropped items, and you had to have people pick them up, which
people are great at that.
Situational awareness for people, not always the greatest thing, especially coming from someone who likes to play his guardian in PvP, but people seem to not realize that you need to hug the firebrand.
Aw.
Well, you're on fire. Why would I do that?
Because fire's warm and it's wonderful.
You're supposed to stand in the fire. Wait. But they changed
makes sense.
all of the medkit abilities to be AoEs and targeted effects. So now it is entirely based off of the engineer's skill with directing where their healing goes versus waiting for people to run over and pick up stuff.
Yep.
And the healing on the one, which is basically a short-channeled flamethrower, effectively, it's a heal thrower, I guess. They equipped a shotgun that shoots bandages, pretty much.
That sounds amazing.
With 0 healing power, every tick, which I think it has 4 to 6 ticks, I was healing for a base of 79 plus 12 per wound on the target. And I think it has a target cap of 3. It might be 5. I didn't really look too deep on. I didn't look at the tooltip long enough to remember it. But yes, it's a healing spray bottle. Thank you, Savage. But with the healing power scaling on it is some stupid number. So I can only imagine if you gave an engineer some amount of healing power, it would just be dumb.
It's really good.
So
yeah. Jumper was running Magi Healing Scrapper.
Oh, Jesus.
It actually works really well in raids. It works reasonably well, so that's good.
Sorry, the only thing I can think of when chat's saying like the shotgun that shoots bandages, I can only think of like when people make the toilet paper gun thing out of a leaf blower type thing and just shoots like. So I'm just having fun with that, like. But,
okay, here it is. I found it in the patch notes. Increase the healing power multiplier by 500%.
Ow.
They reduced the base healing by 33%. But still, like there's no cooldown on it. It's just So that's a silly amount of healing.
Yeah. Though, you know, I like that option of different healers can go to different things, especially, you know, we'll get to Druid eventually. But in due time. Any other thoughts on the engineer itself?
Oh, mortar. All of the mortar buffs that were in PvP and WW are now rolled into live. Shorter cooldowns, better damage. Mortar is amazing.
Mortar is just straight up fun.
Yeah. Mortar's a lot of fun.
Awesome. All right. Well, you know, we'll get to Drew in a bit. We just have to go through a couple other ones. First off, let's talk about the Guardian. So, what happened with the Guardian this patch? Has underwater combat does it feel better now?
Yes.
Apparently the Trident auto attack is now a ranged attack instead of that bouncing projectile thing.
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to mess with it. I feel like I need to just take all of my characters through the underwater fractal and go fight the jellyfish just to get a better feel for underwater combat.
Yeah, yeah.
But,
yeah, the auto attack works really well now. And it's interesting and it feels like it fits in with the other skills. The biggest thing for me, I think, is the ability to actually use your sigils underwater now.
That symbols?
Yes.
Okay.
They say sigils?
Yeah.
Whatever. But yeah, being able to use all of that stuff under the water now makes a huge difference.
Okay, so Spear and Trident now have symbols. That's cool. Yeah, so I see here Pillar of Light is now a symbol and it's Symbol of Light. Okay,
yeah, that's
cool.
pretty nice. Now that you can actually use traits to
there's a lot of traits involved there.
Yeah.
And not just like the one where it's like increases spear damage or, you know, like the...
Yeah.
So, you know, that sounds great that they're creating this, you can actually make builds around them and not just, okay, here's your build around your underwater skills. Pick that one trait that says it's going to increase your trident or your spear or your, whatever have you for your character. It's like, well, that's not really a build, but but any other thoughts on the Guardian?
It looks like, and this seems to be a thing for pretty much everyone, the all the passive stat auras that so in Guardian it's strength and numbers for a toughness aura went from 150 to 100 at 80. And I know druids or rangers in general were crying because spotter is now 100 precision. I'm pretty sure that was across the board. All of those auras got dropped to 100 from 150.
Yeah, that's a bummer, but at least it was across the board, not just one particular profession. But let us talk about the Mesmer. So, have you guys got a chance to?
They gave condition back to Axe's symmetry.
Yep. Axes now have their Condi damage back.
Cool.
It's so annoying.
I was gonna say, Age, it sounds like there's a story behind there with the way you told us that.
No, not at all. Just some past memories. That's all.
Yeah, he's talking about release Mirage. He'll be okay.
I hope so.
It'll be okay, Age, I promise. Outside of axes, the only thing that honestly I think really came in was one of the big changes is Chronophantasma, which is a Chronomancer Grandmaster trait that resummoned your phantasms after they did the thing instead of turning into a clone after that. It cuts the resummoned phantasms damage in half.
That makes sense, to be honest.
Well, and to be honestly, I look at that and I look at that trait and I know the phantasms can do a crap ton of damage, but I honestly find myself wanting them more for their unique effect rather than wanting them for the damage.
That's interesting.
So, well, at least that's for me since I play more bunker chrono in PvP.
Okay.
So I would rather have the effect happen twice than the damage happen twice. So that's
it makes sense if you're a bunker, right? Because you don't have the actual damage output.
I mean, I'm running a Paladin amulet, so I have the damage output, but it's not like I'm running a Marauder amulet and I'm looking for just that punch you in the face kind of burst.
Okay.
But I honestly think it's a sensible change. Getting double the effect and double the damage, I don't think is like it is a trade-off. Like people don't think it's a trade-off. People would think that's just a flat-out burst, but you're getting double the effect instead of getting the clone faster. So if you're trying to run a shatter build, you're actually delaying your shatter maximum potential there.
Yeah.
But that's outside of and Signet of the Ether now uses a shorter cooldown. There's really not much out for Chronomancer outside of the underwater changes.
Yeah.
Although Savage now has their complaint about their underwater legendary not showing up as often, and I feel for you on that one because that's half the reason you'd want the legendary is the unique particle effects. But
I
don't know. Throw a forum post out there. Maybe they'll fix it.
Yeah, or just even a bug report. I mean, but yeah, forum post. But any final thoughts on the Mesmer?
Not really. I think a few people I on the forums I think I saw were expecting a bit more because of the phantasm changes last time, but I don't know.
I know I was expecting more, but they might just save that for a little bit.
I was gonna say at this point the Mesmer's kind of been shaken up so much. Maybe they don't want to shake it up even more.
Maybe with Chronophantasma they'll just do that change and then they'll see. I guess that's what they want.
Yeah.
All right, let us talk about the Necromancer.
Oh boy, these underwater changes.
There's a lot of
Spear is just this giant glut of interweaving abilities now. Because all of the 2 through 5 now causes the 1, because the 1 is now a projectile, and everything else causes that projectile to be fired out from everywhere. So your spear as a necromancer is like you're a one-man whirlwind of piranhas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
No,
man.
chat saying Reaper can do over 60 bleeding stacks in a couple of seconds underwater. That's
Wow.
pretty nice.
Which means that Deathly Chill needs to get removed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm still on that. You're never going to hear the end of that from me, chat.
Yeah, I'm actually fairly, because they buffed the basically Power Reaper even more a little bit, and they did a whole bunch of changes for the underwater as well. So as we said, like everyone got pretty much buffs for underwater, but Necro seems pretty interesting just because it's like a force of nature underwater, to be honest.
I'm looking on here. I don't see where it says my flesh golem can now go underwater.
Honestly,
Where
if they turned it into like some kind of shark, I think that would be fantastic.
That would be
That would be
fantastic.
pretty cool.
That charge would actually be really cool to look at. Yeah.
But oh well.
Yeah. I didn't spend a whole lot of time on the Necro underwater, but I played in the PvP when we did this week, and that felt good, even though I suck. So it was fun.
You managed to survive a couple like 2v1s and 3v1s. I was impressed.
Yeah. Oh, yay.
When you hadn't played PvP for 2 years.
Yep. Not at all. It's really helpful that they keep the listing of the last time you did PvP in there, so you can be like, oh, it's been this long.
September 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow, really?
Yep. It was like September 14th, 2016, something like that.
That is a while.
Yeah.
Or Mithrin, they could just, when it goes underwater, they don't even have to make a new model. Just give it the dead whale that washed up in Lion's Arch, because that was like all rotting and stuff. So that's your underwater flesh golem.
Dark.
What did I go to? Like what?
That's not really all that far for a necromancer. I mean,
yeah, I was like,
I know
it was a corpse.
Honestly, if they actually wanted to change the animation, they could just have it like kind of morph into some kind of fish-like shape, because a necromancer would just be like, you need to swim better.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be hilarious if it would like transform in the water. Like it'd be like.
Well, I kind of agree with Mithrin. Is like, don't even try to make it look good, because it's it's a flesh golem. It's not supposed to look good.
Yeah.
Can't believe I overstepped the bounds with a necromancer talking about a corpse. Jeez.
It's a whale corpse.
Whales
That
are
they
apparently
put in the game. I was saving them.
I know, it's still sad.
Whales are apparently the cuddliest thing in the sea, I guess.
They are.
Okay, then make an undead quagga that you control and manipulate. Oh, okay. It could be little what is it, Poobad? No, not what's the one that we kept giving water to that
Or gold.
Yeah, well
Drubert?
Drubert, yeah.
Drubert, that's it. There we go.
It's Drubert's body. Oh my god.
If that's a gemstore skin, like if they ever start implementing like special unique like
necro skin in the gem store. Oh my god.
Oh,
there
I
you
just
go.
realized Dale had like the professions at the top over.
Yeah, I thought of it, so I just been throwing it up there so people know which one we're on just in case.
Awesome.
But any final thoughts on the necro?
It's awesome. Yay.
Save
Necros are little balls of fun and happiness.
There you go. There is the tagline for Necromancer: "Little balls of fun and happiness," which really doesn't sound like it should go like that, but
It's totally what it is.
I'm not arguing.
Well, she does work
Alright.
bunny ears on her necromancer, so.
Well, the real thing that something that the Necromancer couldn't probably even resuscitate here, the Ranger changes.
Ranger danger.
Yeah. So, how's the Ranger?
They actually did something really interesting here.
Okay.
Destroy
So
it?
they broke the legs of all the healing abilities for the druid. Your cosmic, your life shroud, whatever, I can't remember what it's called.
Celestial Avatar.
Celestial Avatar. They dropped a lot of the healing power ratios on basically everything.
Wow.
They changed a Grandmaster trait to give an additional 50% healing outgoing. And that's where all your healing is. Where was it? Lingering Light. This trait no longer grants its effectiveness when healing an ally. It now grants its effects when entering Celestial Avatar form. While in Celestial Avatar form, outgoing healing to allies is increased by 50%.
Oh, so they essentially just made it something that you have to trade into instead of something you just always get.
But guess what's fighting with it?
What?
Grace of the Land.
Oh.
So you have to either pick healing or might stacking. So I have, I can actually see like people differentiating between being a support druid and having Grace of the Land, or being a healing druid and having Lingering Light.
But I actually like that, because that's an interesting choice to have to choose between the two instead of just being able to do all the things.
And granted, with very little change, a druid could say, I don't need this much healing on this fight. Grace of the Land.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it's a good change. It's also going to remove, it was a really smart thing because it's outgoing healing to allies, not to you.
Yeah.
So druids in PvP and WW aren't going to be able to solo people and heal through it.
Yes.
Good. I've said this before, I hate druids. Druids who roam, because I'm not going into it. Okay, I'm just going to stop right there. All right.
Give in to your anger.
No.
Continuing on.
But I honestly don't think the druid is as bad as people are saying. I understand why people are upset, but
yeah,
when you're overpowered and they bring you down, people are going to be kind of upset. Kind of like people blowing the meteor storm thing out of proportion.
Well, also, like, it's not like you're not useful still. Like, there's still plenty of reasons to bring you. It's just you're going to have to make some choices.
Yeah, I was going to say, that was my question is, does this bump them out of the raid spots? And does this, are they now useless? Like, no one wants them.
Maybe if people overreact and call them useless and are like, rabble.
Good thing we're on the internet, because that'll never happen.
Yeah, everybody's cool-minded on the internet.
Yeah. I will say, though, they did nerf, kind of buff nerf Sun Spirit and Frost Spirit, because they nerfed the damage. But they made all the spirits 100% guarantee when you strike. So that's very interesting change.
Smooths out the actual
and benchmarks and stuff. So
and it seems like that's what's even savage is saying, like, the healing is still enough that you really don't need to take anything more most of the time, and so
it should be fine. Usually the case is you need like a main healer and just an offset secondary healer / support, which is very nice, because you could bring a druid with Grace of the Land, or you can bring, and the second healer could be a Tempest, it could be a Scrapper, it could be a Ventari Revenant. Like, there's so many different options, and it's kind of nice. And if you, for some reason, want to bring like a healing druid and don't have a might stacker, there are other might stacking options that people can bring as well.
All right. Any final thoughts on the Ranger?
Enjoy your nerves.
Let us move to the Revenant.
Yeah, Revenant.
Yeah. So, if you've watched this show, I've always said, eventually they'll make the full Revenant class. While they haven't gotten fully there with the underwater combat, they are making steps, and apparently Arlie was telling me before show, since I didn't get to see Go Chat, which we'll get more into all that stuff, but apparently they're working on it, which, of course it's going to take time. But like the internet, I'm going to overreact. No.
Yeah, the new Trident is amazing. I absolutely love it on the Revenant. I had so much fun running around slaughtering things with that. And the thing, and Mithrin just said it as well. Yeah, swimming around. Mithrin just mentioned it, and the thing that really made it for me is that each skill on the Trident has a different secondary effect depending on which legend that you have equipped current. So whatever your active legend is, it affects what you're doing, which is awesome because that's the way Revenant is supposed to work in the whole thing. That's always one of the things that's annoyed me about is it Spear? That's the other weapon. It's just very flat. It just does what it does. And
it basically had 2 auto attacks until now they made it so.
So like Hammer.
Yeah. So it's really interesting. There's a lot of interplay and you can do a lot of different things with it. And the skills in the Trident itself are fun and really cool. So I'm really, really, really happy with the Revenant changes.
And for people that haven't picked up on it yet, yes, they've given us a secondary weapon for underwater. Before you were just basically, if you wanted to, wield 2 spears for whatever reason.
You didn't even have a second slot.
No,
you did.
Because
they gave us.
You just can't use it.
Yeah, there was no point to using it. Because when they gave us weapon swap after one of the betas, I mean, they did it across the whole character.
Yeah.
But like I said, you're just going to equip 2 spears. So now you can actually equip a different underwater weapon. And on top of that, they did give us the legend, the dwarf stance, which Chalice. Underwater now. So now you have dwarf, assassin, which for people Shiro, and Malix, which is the demon stance. Correct?
Oh yeah, that's what I did. I remember we were talking about. I was trying to remember the weird way I said Chalice when Revenant was coming in. I was like, I mixed it Malik and Chalice and said Jalix. But yeah, it's nice to actually have a choice in what legends you have equipped underwater now, because previously you just had 2, so obviously you were just using those 2 and switching between them as you wanted. So yep, that's much better now.
And I have heard some things like people reverberate the thought that Savage has is when they should go back and update the spear to be a little more farther towards power base, because now it does seem like the spear and the trident are still condition heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, that's great if you're still running like Malix and Shiro, but now that you have Chalice in the mix, I mean, you can still do it, but it's like you're still heavily leaning towards Condi underwater, which...
Yeah.
So hopefully down the road when they add the other ones, we'll get some more love to maybe the spear or something.
That and it's possible that they'll go back and revisit other weapons and have this legend mechanic swap to all of the other weapons.
Yeah, like even just doing that would make a huge difference in accommodating different builds and styles.
I actually, speaking of some of the changes that they made to Renegade, I actually saw a Renegade in PvP this past week.
Wow.
Still doesn't work very well.
Oh.
You're hyping me up for hope there.
I know. I was excited.
Oh.
It was one of those things where I just walked past the spirit and I hit the dazing shatter, and then I just did whatever I wanted to the Renegade. And like they would try to spawn stuff on the point, and I would just use Tides of Time and stun it, and then it would stun on the return because it's not like it's going to dodge out of the way.
Yeah.
So it's still the same problem.
Yeah, I will say though that they did regulate some of the skills that have energy costs, so they used the lower value, which is always really good.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty happy about that.
Yeah, like Zachariah was saying, I think we've talked about that many times where they need to do something with the Renegade spirits to make them more viable.
Yeah, no, I think he was asking me that question. Yes, I still think they need to be invulnerable because they just don't do anything just incidentally.
Yeah.
So.
But any final thoughts on the Revenant?
This is the point where I mute my mic because the next section will be all age.
We nearly did all the professions, right? We can just move on, right?
We're done.
If you want, that's fine.
Next
know
up,
that there will be rage afterwards.
Age rage.
Make that emote.
Next up, we have the Thief. So, is there anybody here who got to try the Thief this week? Like maybe for like 5 minutes or so. Like,
I didn't try for 5 minutes.
oh well, then I guess we should just move on. I guess there's no one here.
Yep, nothing to talk about.
All right. Oh, do I? Okay, I guess I'll go.
This is you.
All you.
I didn't try the underwater stuff because it's basically everyone got damage buffs or improvement, quality of life improvements to it. So I'm like, I'll just try them out whenever I go underwater, whatever. I focused more on the Deadeye rework that happened because it changed a lot of the way it worked. What I'll say is that the malice stacking method now is kind of okay. Basically, you gain malice by using attacks and critting. But I think it's okay for now. The traits are actually feel like so-so. They're okay. They're in a good spot. The problem really is mainly rifle. So the way rifle worked in Raid is that you would pop Dodge Judgment every like 4 or 5 seconds in order to get a ton of damage out. Now that it's tied to the stealth attack, you have to stealth in order to perform Death's Judgment. And there's only a certain amount of stealth that you can do. But overall, it's just a decrease in DPS. And so I figured it's going to be like harder to do in Raid. So Raid right now, if you want to run Deadeye, you would just run Double Dagger and use the Cloak and Dagger backstab method in order to have your damage just around 30k. For World versus World and PvP, I think Rifle is just flat out dead just because of the way it works now. Because the way you get stealth is that you have to be kneeling, you have to be in combat, and you have to dodge roll for it. And it's on a 10-second cooldown. Which
that's a lot.
That's very detrimental in terms of the way.
And are you going to talk about the problem with that?
The problem with that is that I'm expending a dodge in order to stealth.
Oh, I'm talking about accidentally revealing yourself.
Yeah, you can. Well,
no. This.
You could, technically accidentally reveal yourself, but I want to go over the rifle things in general. The Death's Judgment on stealth attack is it's whatever for PvP World versus World wise. But the other parts of it, the kneel is what I use kneel for in World versus World is for stealth, because it's a nice way to get stealth and to relocate, and that's the sniper playstyle I was wanting. What ArenaNet wants with rifle now is more of a actual range sniper who is like visible, but a way it's like I'm going to kill you from range. But in World vs. World, it's really hard to have that play style, and in PvP, maybe it's possible in some maps, but it's not a practical play style, in my opinion. You have to be very patient, I guess, is the way you have to play it now. I don't have that patience. I want to kill people. But the other skill in kneeling, it's Sniper's Cover. I thought it would last long enough. It's 5 seconds, but it really doesn't last long enough, and it's just in front of you, which I would much prefer a small AoE around you that block projectiles.
I would think it would need to be a little bit farther in front of you, because I saw you do it on the stream.
Yeah, who was it? Was it someone on my streams suggested that when you kneel, it just places it automatically, the Sniper's Cover, which is a good idea. But I think rifle is in a worse state than it is before. So I can get along with like the malice changes and I can get along with the trait changes, but the rifle is not that fun anymore. Unless like you stack a lot of health, I guess. I don't know. I'll do more testing and I'll see, but right now it doesn't seem practical.
And for anybody wondering in chat, Zachryox is bringing up the silent scope problem where Age is talking about, you dodge roll for stealth. If you dodge roll while there is an attack in the air, considering you're supposed to be at 12 to 1500 range. You can dodge, gain stealth, then the auto attack lands. You've done damage and you get revealed. So you completely waste that. So you have to stop your auto attack, roll, use your stealth attack, then go back to auto attacking.
Yeah, Zekrox, pretty much sniper's cover should be a field, like Black Powder is on Pistol 5 offhand. Basically that around you, and it would block projectiles for like 7 seconds. And it could have a cooldown, whatever, I don't know. The other thief changes are actually pretty nice, though. They lowered like Dagger Storm's cooldown 60 seconds. Thief's Guild got reduced as well. So there was some changes that are actually really good. So that
and chat is saying Robert Gee said sniper's cover will be changed to give stealth at the end of the dodge instead of at the start. So
nice.
Yeah.
That'll help.
I don't think that will help, but that's just me.
Well, I mean, it gives you a little more time for whatever that auto attack is out there to hit before you gain stealth. So
it'll help that situation, but I think it's just not a good way to stealth on rifle overall. I much prefer the initial way.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
On the bright side, for fighting a Deadeye, I feel like I was much more in control because I was 1v1ing a Deadeye at a point on Wednesday, and I knew when he was going to have the malice stacked up because I saw the hits coming in.
Mm-hmm. Oh, one thing I should warn people about, and this is going to get nerfed, I just know it will, is backstab. Backstab hits like a truck. So with Marauder Amulet, you could do between 7 and 13k damage on a backstab with just Marauder Amulet. So Berserker Amulet would do double that. So yeah. When if you are the target of a Deadeye who is running dagger main end, and he has all the malice stacks on you, just kite for your dear life and don't get backstabbed.
Cool.
Yeah. I'll be right back. I have to go check windows because of a storm coming in.
Okay. But yeah, that's gonna get nerfed. I know it will. That's I know people will complain about that. So.
Zekrox brings up a good point. That is malicious if you hit like a truck when invisible. So
yeah, that's true.
Any final thoughts on the thief? I'm sure you can go.
Or everyone else.
Everybody. I mean, I know Jim said it felt like it was at least better, a little bit better to fight them and stuff like that. But
I just. I would just say the rifle, honestly, is the one thing I can't really get behind. The rest seems okay with the Deadeye rework. The base thief changes where they brought everything in line from like the skill splitting is actually pretty good overall. So lower cooldowns, a little bit more damage here and there. So pretty good.
Zekrox is saying, in summary of Thief, great concepts, bad executions, needed more testing. Do you guys agree with that?
It's a good start.
And then, this is always ever changing. We're hopefully going to get another update where they give us the rest of the Revenant stuff. That's when they can also add more of this Deadeye stuff. But, yeah, let us move away from the Thief, since apparently he has problems revealing himself, and move on to the Warrior.
A lot of buffs to, like, the underwater stuff was actually really good. Because I actually, out of all the profession, I think Warrior is the most fun for me underwater. But they also got buffs, I think, a little bit to Axe, I think to Hammer, I think to Mace, maybe, I think it was. And I think, was there Sword in there as well? So they got like a little, like they sprinkled a lot of buffs here and there. So.
It's It's all over the place,
Yeah.
but it mostly buffs.
Yeah. And
Except for passive healing. Adrenal health and healing signet got nerfed a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah, chat saying the Berserker heal got buffed, and I think Savage was saying that before, how it gives 3 adrenaline bars. Or...
This skill is no longer split between game modes and will now use the higher 30 adrenaline cost and increase 25% to damage to healing in all modes.
Yeah, that's actually a really nice change.
Yeah.
I can get behind that. Yeah.
But yeah, so, and I kind of agree with the Zekrox. It's like, and I think that's what everybody else was saying is like, they're changed things. There was nothing like groundbreaking from the warrior changes, which I guess is good if you're a warrior main. I mean, and you're enjoying it.
If anything, there's better things there. So.
Any final thoughts on the warrior themselves?
Come on. Sorry.
My God.
I did see last up in this patch, and I've seen people talking about it throughout the whole week, is another note that came up later, which was rumors have surfaced about a mysterious mist traveler. So apparently there is now a way to obtain, if I'm not mistaken, the was it Revenant weapons that we had in beta for the Revenant skins?
Mm.
Yeah, but for some reason it was like it goes to different maps, but for some reason, and I'm trying to keep track of, like, I think it was finally solved, like all the locations, because there was a couple hour span. I remember that shaman talking about it, where they could not find out where that was spawning. But apparently there's also been issue of it wasn't showing up on certain servers, whether that was a bug or not. Like of the same map, like certain, So, okay, the chat is saying it follows a fixed pattern. It appears 15 past the hour and stays for 20 minutes. Yeah. So, okay, there's definitely a fixed pattern to it, because, yeah, at first it kind of did seem random, but that's kind of how, if we don't have the information, it will always seem random till the very end when we have all the locations. But, yeah, it's a nice way to finally get those weapon skins that we've all been clamoring for.
Yeah, that's great. I want them now. Okay. Can we stop show now?
Got a little bit more to do.
You've got 1 minute before he spawns, so you can stay on for a little bit longer.
Okay.
Yeah. Though, like Chad is saying, it doesn't spawn on new maps. Only if someone's okay. So you better get on an old map. You better not get on a new map if you're waiting that long. Oh, and chat's cool. Got all 3 of them. Nice.
Well, that's what Zekrox is saying. When I saw about the mysterious dude, I came to multiple conclusions. Yay, getting missing weapon skins. Ooh, fun little search party for the first few days. 3, more Revenant lore.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of.
Hey, look, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely was, a nice surprise that they've added that, because what was it, for the longest time they said that the files were lost or something like that.
I never remember them.
I thought there was some kind of issue when they someone finally stated like there was some kind of issue as to why they haven't, came back for the longest time. Basically all of HOT. But yeah,
I don't remember ArenaNet saying anything specifically about it.
Yeah, like I said, it's been a while, so yeah. I could be totally mistaken on that. But yeah, definitely pick that up. Next up, guild chat this week, mostly focusing on the underwater combat and stuff. And one thing they brought up was their design goals for the update were basically underwater combat should not be any less effective than its on land counterpart. Underwater movement can be significantly more effective, and underwater skills should have combat flow parallels to on land weapons. My biggest question is, do you guys think they achieve that?
Yeah, I think because one thing that actually was interesting is that they were talking about translating some of the skills from like a 2D space into a 3D space.
Mm-hmm.
And that was interesting because it's not necessarily like if it's a straight translation, then great, it's fine. If it's not a straight translation, it usually means that they have to actually put work into it. So, and how do they make this skill work from a 2D space into a 3D space? Like, for example, in chat, someone said Ventari tablet. The reason why Ventari tablet is hard to do underwater is because the tablet itself is based on where it is on land. So how do you kind of do that in water, and how do you activate skills and so on and so forth? So it's different hurdles of things that they have to go through, and to do that for every single skill, it takes time. So that was a very interesting part for me, anyway.
Yeah, it was interesting to hear them talk about that.
And also the puns that would make Dale.
Oh my God, so many puns. All the puns.
I'll definitely have to go back and watch it because
I
sadly was at work and new job.
I watched at work.
Well, I would say I started a new job this past week. Probably didn't want to risk,
That's fair.
You should be like, yo, this is more important. It's cool.
They'll be like, okay, great, you can go watch at home. Be like, oh, thanks. You guys are so nice. I love it here. I can't wait to see you guys Monday.
Yeah.
But yeah, they really went in depth with it.
Yeah.
You.
I had to.
God, I love this episode. Lots of references, puns, and
yeah. One thing also tangential to the underwater combat thing is people were saying that maybe with the updates we'll get underwater areas for the next living story or something. And I was thinking about it, and if there's just like some parts of it that are underwater, then fine. But if like the whole zone is pretty much underwater, I don't know how much fun that would be, unless they're going to do something like giving us an underwater map or something. That would be cool.
Would you want it to be like purely underwater?
I wouldn't.
Okay.
I would not, unless they're going to give us something like an underwater mount or something to get around faster. Because
the way I'm thinking of it is they're going to be, well, ideally, if they wanted to include underwater combat, is that there would be underwater areas that you have to go for story.
Yeah.
That would lead to like land-based, fight and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there will also be islands and things like that, and that would promote both the use of the new underwater combat system and the skimmer as well. So
yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, I think it's much more likely that there'll be parts of the living story that might deal with underwater stuff, but the majority or it exclusively won't be underwater.
I like that idea that Mithrin's bringing up, because there's been like kind of extra things added to like the Griffin and stuff, stuff like that. But almost the skimmer should get a 5th mastery, Return to the Sea, that teaches it to swim, underwater.
Oh, that would be pretty sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, it is really easy to get around Von Buki. It is really easy to get around Tangled Depths because part of it is underwater.
It's easier now with mounts.
Yeah, the lowest level was underwater. That was a cool area.
And that's why the tunnels were cool. It's just getting to them was the problem.
Yeah.
I just didn't know where I was. Like when you first get onto the map and then you go towards like the left, like that area, it's like I have no idea how to get through there except for getting to the chalk lane.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
that was the thing. Like, a lot of Tangled Depths didn't make any sense to me until I finished map completion on it. And as soon as I finished that and had gone everywhere, like, it all clicked. And I was like, oh, I get how this works now. And it made more sense. So it's just one of those maps that you have to spend a fair amount of time in to learn how everything's connected and how everything goes together.
I've map completed that at least 7 times. I still don't know where I'm going.
Well, age.
Are we allowed to let you drive now, Arlie?
I guess so.
Okay.
Any final thoughts on the guild chat itself? I mean, I think it kind of falls under all the guild chats of like if you like behind the scenes stuff and hearing, you know what the kind of what's going on around ArenaNet and like their thought processes, definitely worth checking out. Apparently puns galore, which I'm sad I missed it live.
Yep.
Yeah, I will say this though, Ruby, I tweeted at you. I want to see artists. Give me artists, please.
See what?
I want to see artist.
Artists
on guild chat.
Yeah.
Yes.
I tweeted at her, I want to see people from every single team, even the programmers. I want to know all the things.
So she did send out a tweet of like, what do you guys want to see on a guild chat?
Yeah.
But Red Wolf, I don't know. Did the people that did watch guild chat, was there any information on the episode? Okay, then.
No, I don't. Just before I forget, I also tweeted at her, like, I also want any topic that would get Peter Freeze and Joshua Foreman in the same room together for a guild chat.
Yeah.
Because that'd be great.
Red Wolf was saying at the very end there was supposedly.
I didn't see anything about that. I watched straight through.
And are you sure they're not recapping? Because wouldn't that be the next one's episode 3? So if it's an episode 2 trailer.
Oh, talk. Oh, yeah.
I mean,
they're bringing Dubs to talk about it.
I didn't really count that because they didn't say anything about it. Like, okay. Like, that's about when we're expecting it anyway, so I don't know.
Are we on episode 3, though?
We're on episode 3. They're bringing back Dubs to talk about episode 2, I think.
Oh, okay. Then that may... All right. So they're not going to be talking about one that's potentially... All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's it for the guild chat. Let's move on to the NCSoft earnings report, first quarter of 2018.
Yay, Wildstar. Oh wait.
Oh wow, we're gonna do this early, huh? Okay.
I wasn't mean this time yet.
Do we just want to get it out of the way?
No, I felt genuinely bad. At least I'll be nice with it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it is important because I see chat saying, like, Ion, like, what the heck with it. While these do look like similar bars, it's important to look at the numbers because...
Yeah, different scales.
Ion was at 18, whereas... And it looks like it's, better than Guild Wars 2, where Guild Wars 2 is still sitting at, 23.6 billion won. So...
Yeah.
While it looks, deceptive that, they kind of just do that. They're all on their own different scales, which is...
Yeah.
I am surprised that Ion showed that much of a bump.
Mm-hmm.
Is that game like 10 years old?
Well, like, what is their other... It's not Legends. There's some other really old game that they have that's Lineage. Thank you. Lineage that just keeps going and earning them all kinds of money, and it's like,
well, I mean, it's pretty low. It's on there. It's actually at 28 now.
That game is like,
it used to be a juggernaut, but it's kind of. I think it's because
28's not that bad either.
Oh, not at all for how long it's been around. But I think what really hurt it was they really pushed for the Lineage mobile. I think it was. So I think that angered a lot of people, or just took people away, or a little bit of both. But anyway, to focus on the Guild Wars 2 stuff, we do see a decrease in the sale from last quarter, which was 34.9 billion won, to what is now 23.6 billion won, which I think we were talking last time we were talking about the fourth quarter earnings report. Mm-hmm. This would have included, I think, a little bit of the expansion stuff, but also this was the gem store mount gate. Like, there was a lot of money potential earned comparatively to the other quarters. I mean,
and oh my God, Zach. Inks, you're talking about Lineage making more money than Guild Wars 2. It's trending down. It's 5 billion won above Guild Wars 2's first quarter 2018 earnings.
And honestly, what I usually tell people that are always surprised that Lineage is like, it used to be so popular. I mean, it's, like I said, it still is, but it's like you know how WoW is for everybody usually in like the Western culture? That's what Lineage is like for everybody else.
Yeah.
Like it's
Lineage was, Lineage was the shit for a really long time.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. So some other interesting points. NCSoft sees loyal player bases for the PC games yielding stable revenues, which you can kind of see here. Mobile games for them still have very high potentials. They are looking for a Blade and Soul 2 launch planned for 2019. And they do kind of feel, with going back to the mobile thing, NCSoft feels they were a little bit late for the mobile game, party, which, yeah, it's... I mean, they still made you're chunking all their mobile games together, so,
Yeah.
You got to kind of separate those up, but, they're sitting at 264 thousand billion won, or if I'm reading that right, or no, 264 billion won, I think it is. So, but that's still a tremendous amount for all their mobile games.
Yeah.
Yep.
And supposedly Lineage Eternal renamed and revamped. I wonder if that was the mobile game. I'm not 100% sure. Because they still have Lineage marked as Lineage and Lineage 2, so.
And Inks is bringing up the Go-Go mobile games. I'm actually kind of happy that it only took them 2 quarters to drop 50% of the initial profit.
Yeah.
I really don't want to see NCSoft pushing mobile game marketing to all of their other properties, because that would just make me really sad. Like, I want that to fall off pretty sharply, which it has, thankfully, just so that they don't get antsy and think that they should be loot boxing everything.
Yep.
Any final thoughts on the earnings report?
I hope to see Guild Wars 2 stabilize around 25 billion.
Yep.
23 to 25, that's good for the player base that it has.
Yeah. And next up, let us talk about the Guild Wars 1 and how it's getting a graphics update.
New graphics. Woo. Can you jump?
Yeah, /jump.
/jump. But yeah, it looks like primary graphics setting update, but it makes a huge difference to the game that's been out since 2005. But yeah, what kind of options are they actually giving us here for such an old game? Like, what can they do?
It's kind of interesting because it seems like, they obviously wanted to make the players who are actually playing, like, hey, we still care about this game, have a graphics update.
Well, you have to figure that whatever they did had to be something that, like, I'm not saying it's simple for them to push out, but it wouldn't take too much of their time away from doing other things to do.
Mithrin, quote Mithrin, I went to Embark Beach and enabled advanced, and I could see the edge of the water. Like, are you talking like
the edge right in front of you?
I think you might be talking about the like where they stopped rendering the water because they thought it was far enough out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me see here. New advanced options checkbox has been added. This will replace the -LOD full command line option that was added recently. Model LODs will always use the highest available level of detail, regardless of distance, including the disabling of imposter models. Max draw distance doubled. Ground cover vegetation draw distance will be pushed out even further. Terrain level of detail will always be highest.
Neat.
So just take literally everything about the game and just
turn it up.
It goes to 11.
I loaded up Guild Wars earlier today, but I didn't actually go out and see all the different changes and stuff. But
yeah, it'd be interesting to hop in and just look and see.
I need to install it on this computer. I haven't had a chance to install it since I got an upgraded PC.
Yeah. That's fine. I'll probably personally, I'd probably go to Commandant first just to see what it would look like because that place has a lot of detail. Concerning water, I guess LA would be the best. So yeah, yeah.
All right, now Games Love and Life. Are you talking Guild Wars 1 or Guild Wars 2?
Nah, I'm assuming Guild Wars 2.
Yeah, I would assume so as much too, but because I don't think there were really world bosses in Guild Wars 2 or Guild Wars 1 rather. But that's cool, man.
There are bounties in Guild Wars 1.
There are bounties in Guild Wars 2 as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I wonder where they got the idea for that.
Yeah, but I think it's pretty cool. It's Stephen Clark Wilson actually worked on it. I'm actually impressed one person actually worked on it, but I wonder how long it took.
Well, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. But we don't know like how long it took. So
It'd be nice to know that. Like, it would be nice to know how long it took.
Yeah, but you know,
Do we want to just transfer into the next section?
Yep.
Gone, so we can
Go ahead.
Puns?
Yeah.
you should avoid the puns.
Well, just without any fanfare, friends, it's the Gem Store update.
Yay, Gem Store!
I feel like the Gem Store needs to be like the transfer card sound.
Yeah.
Like, and now for the sports. Yay, Gem Store.
Although Theo's not there, he can't put up the images.
Yeah, that's true. Damn it.
Oh, we'll
have
just
to
talk
wait.
about it. We could talk about it, like how awesome the jackal is.
14 to 24 off work hours, Zach, for the previous thing for Guild Wars 1.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Like Avedon Deos no more. Oh, feels bad.
I don't know about Cantha, Red Wolf. I wouldn't say it's catering to Naruto fans, but the kitsune aesthetic is more than just Naruto. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say that the Shrine Fox thing has been used in a lot of different things. So
Mostly Japanese anime.
yeah.
I mean, you're not wrong, but
I wouldn't say it's specifically Naruto. Like
I thought it was
there's a lot.
That's oh wow! I could make Nine Tails. Yeah, I got.
I mean, I did color mine as close as I could to Naruto's. So I mean,
I tried that first just to see, because I honestly didn't think about it until someone said so. I'm like, oh, I could do that. But
Gem Store do. Talk about the jackal.
We already did the transition for you.
Oh, okay.
Oh, right. We didn't thank Dolphy. Thank you to Dolphy because for putting up all these images and videos together. So make wise Gem Store decisions. There you go. I forgot.
But yeah, there is the Shrine Guardian Jackal.
It's the best
around.
Never gonna keep you down.
Yay!
Did you make sure to tell him it was 2,000 gems and that it isn't?
No, we didn't. We were just talking about how awesome it was.
Oh, fair enough.
It is 2,000 gems. Yes.
But you can get it out of the chest too.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the new interesting thing because with the new Blackline chests, you can actually get this as a chance to drop. Which I'm curious, how do you guys feel about that? That a 2K gem mount.
I'm more okay with that because it's an extra acquisition feature.
Yeah.
It's fine. Buy 10 keys. If it doesn't work out, buy them out if you want it. I don't think it's
or just buy them out and you spend less.
If you just want them out, yeah, buy them out, I guess. But
yeah, I was saying that's what chat's asking. I've seen so many people asking that is it better to spend the keys for it to drop or pay the 2,000 gems?
If you're
lucky, it's better to get it from a chest. But if you're not lucky, then
if you just want this mount, buy it.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy the chest just to get a chance at the mount.
Yeah. If you think that it would be cool to have this mount, but it does not trigger you on a I need this, like this isn't Invader Zim, I have a mighty need gif kind of moment, go for the chest. Buy 10 keys. See if you're lucky. If you do indeed have a mighty need, just buy the mount.
And
Yeah,
even
who
Inks is
it was.
saying
Go ahead.
it's cheaper on average to just buy it, which
Yeah,
that's usually how these work. Like
Yeah.
in any game, really.
definitely. I would say, like, if you want to test your luck, buy 10 chests. If you don't get it, buy the mount straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Wispy's also doing the math. 2,100 gems for 25 keys with an extremely low probability to get it, or buy 2K gems and get it guaranteed. Yeah,
that's exactly why I'm saying buy 10 keys, because that'll cost you 900 gems. That's under half. And if you
want to be the risk taker, but
yeah,
if you feel like you're so unlucky with all that stuff, just buy it outright. I mean, it's the option.
Yeah.
Because more than likely you are going to, and you know what, make sure to do your key runs. If you're only going up to level 10, once a week. If you're farming them more, because I know there's certain points in the game that you can get them. You can do them that way. So
I need to buy a character slot to do that. I don't want to delete my one character. But I know a lot of people have said they're dying. There's like Naruto, they're keeping there's like the white for like Okami, they're dying on like Ninetales. I dyed mine like Red 13.
There you go.
There.
It dies very well. It works.
Mm-hmm.
And see, like Inks says the character age.
I'm not. No,
He's
I'm not.
the master deleter himself.
My one complaint about the dyes on the Jackal skin is that I wish the under eye part wasn't tied to a part on the saddle. That just annoys me.
Weird, yeah.
Yeah, I wish it wasn't tied to the eyes too.
Yeah, what was it? You said the mask is tied to the cloud outline on the saddle?
Yeah, the scroll work that's on the saddle.
Okay.
It's tied to the eyes too, which is kind of annoying.
That's what I said. The eyes and the scroll work are tied together.
Oh, okay. I thought you missed the eyes.
No, I was saying I wish those two things were connected.
Oh, like the eyes, the tattoo, and the saddle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, did you guys know the eyes and the saddle work on there was kind of? I don't know if you heard that, but
eyes and the kettle and the silver spoon.
Oh my god.
Welcome to the Spotify version of Talking Skritt. But yeah, so you can pick that for 2,000 gems or take the risk. Probably don't recommend that for most people.
Gamble, the proper terminology.
Or whaling is also the other term.
But you can in the Blackline chest. Also in the Blackline chest, they added a new item, the Exalted Gloves. And, they are an armor piece, so you can put them on your outfit you're already running. You can kind of see how they die here, thanks to Dolphy. And they are an uncommon drop. Good. They also say the Shrine Guardian Jackal is also an uncommon drop, so good luck to you. But yeah, it unlocks all 3 armor sets as per usual with most of these items. So, but you can only get that in one of the Blackline chests. This isn't like you can buy also straight outright.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's like a lava lamp for your hands.
There you go.
I prefer the wraps, honestly, but these look pretty good. But
yeah, these are definitely interesting, but I don't know if I would
I guess
them on any of my characters, but
they're exalted hands. So.
Yeah.
I'm gonna complain,
but and also in the Blackline chest, you got rare drop of the Shadow Weapon collection, unused versions of the Glyph of the Unbound and Glyph of the Watch Knight, so those are going to be tradable. Which so in that case, you could probably just get them off the trading post, which is definitely nice.
Mm-hmm.
And also the Blackline statuettes, a new selection of toy combos have been added. The exclusive Griffin Hatchling package and the mini Duena's Messenger have been added as well. Additional items include the Hawkwing glider combo, Quaggan backpack cover, and the Zodiac armor sets have all been added. And for people that don't know, the Blackline statuettes, you get them every time you open up a Blackline chest. So
Yep.
Yeah, it's to help offset the RNG, but like allowing you to get something that you would want. So.
Yep. And most of the prices on the things for the statuettes isn't too crazy. It made sense to me when I was looking at it. So
I've been buying boosters in preparation for that next War versus World bonus weekend.
You mean you don't already have a crap ton of those saved in your inventory?
No, I actually use them for reward tracks when I'm doing like World vs. World or something like that.
I have, I think, 30 of the 24-hour celebration boosters.
Oh yeah, I have plenty of those. Yeah,
in my bank.
But I mean like the heroic boosters and
Okay.
the black line ones, because the black ones are fairly new, so I don't have a lot of them.
All right. Any final thoughts on gem store stuff?
Not really, no.
I caved on a mount skin finally.
Should have just been doing your key runs and saving those keys up, especially if they're going to be doing this continuously.
But I may not have gotten it.
I actually ran out of chests.
Wow.
Is that possible?
Well, I did, so yeah.
Oh.
Clearly.
And you checked all your bank and.
Yeah, no, I always put everybody's chests in the bank, and yep, I ran out of chests.
I have heard that the price for black line chests went up a little bit.
Interesting.
It's working. Well, I still have not spent $25 on that. I wasn't going to, but then I gave myself an ultimatum. So I said, if anyone in my raid group on Thursday had the mount skin, I'll buy it. And
that was pretty much guaranteed.
Yeah, seriously.
If
I log in and see someone with this, I am going to get it.
It's one of those things where it's the 2K mount skins have to be. I have a mighty need.
Yeah.
That's what I felt for the lion for the griffin skin.
Yeah.
You just call it the Glion.
The lion.
I wanted to say griffin skin, and then I said
Glide and lion.
That's it. Yeah, sure, Glion.
I thought you did it on purpose. I was like, it works. It's
no, there's no purpose there. There's no purpose here at all. But yeah, that's what these large niche purchases are. If it really either fits a character or you look at it and say, I want that.
Yeah.
Like 6 A's.
Yeah.
In that, then buy it because it will make you happy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's essentially as soon as I saw it on the page on the blog post, I was like, I'm buying that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. When I first saw it, I'm like, fuck. Pardon my language.
That's awesome.
They got you.
Yeah.
And that's how they're meant to, designed to do. You want to buy them. I mean,
yeah. I'm always using Jackal now. That's I'm actually going to, because I use mostly Raptor, I'm just going to rebind my Raptor to my Jackal. There you go.
But,
Do you have anything else?
Well, last up we have Community Corner. So first up we have the NA Hero Point runs for done by Trixie Morigna. It's going to be Saturday, so if you're watching this on Twitch, it's going to be today, starting at 6 p.m. server time. If you're watching this on YouTube, sadly you missed it. Arc Basin, in Arc Basin it's going to be Southwatch Waypoint, AB Overseer event for POI. Eastwatch will be Eastwatch event chain and Vinetooth Prime. Tangle Depths, Friendor Fog's achievement. Ponati the Massive and Skelk Regurgicidal meta, the Chak Driver to finish off the run. So basically they're going to do a quick and dirty 250 HP run. VB no waypoints required, but must have Bouncing Mushroom and Lean Glide masteries. So 250 hero points in 1 hour to about an hour and 15 minutes there, guesstimating. But
that's pretty quick, actually.
Yeah. And also, Sunday they're going to be doing another one, starting at 6 p.m. server time. Hero Point run, basically the same, Shipwreck Peak, VB, no waypoints needed. Basic gliding only required mastery, moderately paced, helpful run. all 330 hero points in Verdant Brink, Arc Basin, and Tangled Depths. They do say we'll need Poison Lore Mastery for the very last HP to commune. So, and runs will be posted on LFG/Open World, the / the area they start in. So if you need to contact Trixie Morigna in game, or mail Morigna.1704 if you want to do one of those runs. So whether you're doing it, if you're listening to this live or tomorrow on YouTube, you'll be able to maybe hop into one if you're trying to, catch up on one of your characters. Maybe you use your level 80 boost from POF and you're like, I gotta go back and get all those. So,
or just go do WW and buy the proofs of heroics.
But then you're not with the whole group running around.
I'll admit. Well, yeah, you are. You're with the whole group running around killing things. It's just,
crap.
But I will admit, in PvE, it's a completely different thing, and you'll be getting more stuff. Honestly, I feel like. But depending on your pip status in WW, so if you're a super high rank in WW, it might be more worthwhile to just go run with the Zerg. Also, Games Love and Life said that their guild, Bosch, is going to be doing a giant, massive boss train tonight at Reset.
Oh, there you go. Then,
So,
if you're watching this live, you got some more information to hit it while you can.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts on the community corner? Hero
good
point
on you,
trains?
Guild Wars 2 community.
Yeah.
I'm glad
More
that
and more
HB
events.
is the whole thing.
If you guys know any community events going on, pop it in our Discord, and we'll try to shout it out for you.
Yeah, definitely. And that looks like it is that for this week. And Jim, where can they find you?
I'm going to be found on Twitter at BelfanusMMO. You can also find me here on twitch.tv/TalkingSkrit every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time for a 0 to Hero ranked PvP night, where we now have a duo queue because Arlie's joining us. She's repping that old school Reaper. She's not on the Scourge train. She's still going Reaper, and I'm still playing my Chrono. Not because it's broken. I'm actually okay with the nerfs to it. I want to play it because I need to play my Mesmer at some point, and I figured, why not PvP? Why not Zoidberg? But hope to see you all there.
Awesome. And Age, where can they find you?
You can find me at Twitch and YouTube at Age Night Road. I only did one stream this week because I had to reformat my PC. I tried to stream right Thursday, but my audio was cutting out, so I just couldn't. I'll be back next week because you can see my computer's okay now. I also need to apologize for last week because apparently I didn't seem enthusiastic enough in hosting. So
Spear fingers. Give out some spear fingers.
I apologize if I didn't feel enthused. I had I usually have long work weeks, and I stay up doing notes and stuff. So I had to do extra on top of that. Dale makes it look easy. I don't know how he does it, but yeah. Anyway,
I just be bad at it.
But yeah, I'll stream next week. I'll try to do more things. I have to get a video out on the Deadeye stuff, but yeah, that's the plan.
And Robin, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Arlie82. My streams had been kind of on hiatus for the last week or so, but I'll be back to streaming this week, so yay. And like Malthanis mentioned, I'll be on Zero to Hero. Reverse that. 0 to Hero, probably until sometime September. So it'll be fun and interesting. See how it goes.
Awesome. And you can find me at simply_Deo on Twitch and Twitter. And this past week, like I said during the show, got a new job, so work's been a little bit hectic, so I haven't really streamed this past week. Hopefully we'll stream something tomorrow, and like I said, during the week, it's kind of up in the air type stuff. But if you are just popping at the very end, do stick around. We do an after show, but we are also going to talk about a couple of things. I almost felt like a principal there, or a teacher, like, we're going to be talking about a couple of things here, but don't worry. I think it's all hopefully you guys will like it. But if you are just popping at the very end, we do highlight this on Twitch if you prefer to watch it that way. If you prefer YouTube, we put it up on YouTube at Sundays, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Just search Talking Skritt, usually the first one that pops up. And if you're watching on YouTube, if you can make it out to the live show, twitch.tv/TalkingSkrit. We go live Saturdays at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. We also have a Discord community kind of server. It's not just Guild Wars 2, you know. I think in the past I've seen Malfanis, Age, and Taz playing like League of Legends. You know, we were playing Dauntless a little bit. I've seen people play ESO, you know, Guild Wars 2, of course. People talk about WoW. You know, I've seen people playing Destiny 2, Warframe, you know, loads of games. There's all the games. We love games. But yeah, definitely check that out. Links in the description if you're watching on YouTube, or in the Twitch panel down there. So come hang out. We'll love to talk with you. And thank you this week for the hosts from Gallios Shardblade, SOTD Podcast, Guild Wars Monk, Host of Ascalon, Nat Chevron, 7-Bit Brian, Moonkiller NV, Garaz MOG, Jaibu Cool, Hypnotic One, MMO Inks, and Serene Virus. And that is it for this week. We'll see everybody next week, and always see you in the game. Good night, everybody.
Good night, friends.